How's it going, guys? I'm a top 100 trader on over 60 million coins on my main account, and I'm going to start a thing where I'm going through my trades every 24 to 48 hours on my second account, just to show you how I'm building my account, how I'm growing my account. You can follow along too, maybe get a few ideas for players to trade, but just get a general idea of why I'm making trades, why I'm making losses on certain trades, and my different approaches as the market changes through team of the season. So the trades I've made in the last 24 hours, I've made a total of 595,000 coins, and it took around about 2 to 3 hours of trading, so it was a really good session. But I did get very fortunate, and I will sort of go into that in a little bit. But we'll start with Maldini. This was, I think I made 43,000 coins on this Maldini here. I don't think it was anything too special. It just he came up on the momentum page, and we'll just have a look at his graph. It was a snipe in a sense, because you can see he's still 560, and I think that's roughly what I sold him for. 561. I think I bought him for around 490,000 coins. So today he's been down. I think I might have. We'll see if we can find him on my. It might be too far back on the recent sales. Yeah, 490 there. That seems about right. And then sales coming up. So as you can see, he was selling for more than 490, not too long before and not too long afterwards. So it was a snipe. So yeah, nothing too special about this trade here. If you have a look, he does fluctuate a bit, but I wouldn't necessarily want to be buying him as a fluctuation trade at the moment, just because the market is crashing and you don't really know. In a case like this, he may start rising again, but come Thursday, come Friday, he may just start crashing again. So it's not a card I want to be holding for too long, expecting a rise, but that was Maldini. Then a lot of these cards I got incredibly lucky on. I think Socrates was a regular trade. I made 4.5k on Socrates. Very similar scenario to Maldini, just a snipe. I'll see if any others. I think the rest of the icons were a very weird scenario, so I'll go and explain it. I think the best is to explain it with Dunga. These are all very similar. As you see, I sold for 190k and I made 82,000 coins profit on him, which, if you've ever traded Dunga, you'll be very surprised to hear that, but I can show you on the graph what was happening. So if you go over to Dunga, I think, it was this. So if you're in the last 3 days, he had this really weird high spike. He's usually around 100k, maybe to 110, maybe from around 80. If you have a look, he does go sort of around 100k. Okay, we deal with 100k. But he had this incredibly weird spike, sort of in the early hours, up to, 190k is what I sold him for, and it was just a snipe, essentially. As you can see, he's selling for nowhere near that at the moment. There's a few weird trades, but there always are with these sorts of cards. As you can see, probably a coin transfer. And if we have a look at some other cards which are similar to this, so for me anyway, have a look at Lahm. Exactly the same scenario. He's actually held his value a little bit, to be fair, but he was from 87k up to 150, which I think is around where I sold him for, and now he's back down to around 100k, around that sort of mark. But there are still some deals available with him. I think he's not quite sure where he wants to settle in price. And when you get situations like this, where a card goes spiking up like this, and quite often the cards aren't going to sell like this, but if you've bought one and it's sold, do it again and it's sold, you're going to get people who have bought and have been trying to sell their card at this price, for maybe when the card was sort of this price, for like 90,000 coins. They come back, they just click the right trigger and relist all, and the card's actually worth 150k. So that's kind of what happened for me when I was picking up these cards. I was getting a lot, just all on the momentum page, as I sort of explained in my 0 to 1 mil video. Just kept coming up, for all of these icons, and I sort of read through how much profit I made per card, but it was basically similar scenarios to this. Who else? Campbell. Let's have a look. Campbell. Can be, that's no good. Campbell. See if he's changed in price. He's still held value, so I don't know what's going on there. Maybe there's an Evo news which only the select circle know about, but yeah, that's basically what happened with these cards. I managed to get a lot of them when they were getting relisted for around these prices, and because I hadn't realised the card had risen to sort of these prices, I was buying at these prices, being able to sell at these prices, and I ran through what I bought these cards for. So Maldini was normal. Raul, I managed to make 50,000 coins on. He usually is a hell of a lot cheaper than that, like the rest of them. Cannavaro was 35,000 coins. Alarm was 49,000 coins. Socrates was just a regular trade. I made 4,500 coins. King Kenny got around 10,000 coins profit on him. Desai was 17,000 coins. Schweinsteiger was 26,000 coins. Dunga 82,000 coins. Sissy was 23,000 coins, and Campbell was 33,000 coins. So all of these, I'm making ridiculous profit per card. I'm making like 25% return on investment on these cards. Usually I'll be happy with around 5%. So I'm making around, on a Sissy card like this, I'll be making around 5,000 coins. Obviously the more profit the better. But if I saw it and I can make 5,000 coins on a card that's around 100k, I'll take it. For 200k, I'll take around a 10k, so on. Every 100k, I'm happy with an extra 5k profit. But with these cards, I was making a stupid amount of profit in a very short amount of time, hence why I made almost 600,000 coins in a couple of hours of trading. So it's really good profit for how much time I spent on it. Sawa was quite a good buy. She seems to be fluctuating, so it wasn't much of a snipe. She's a very rare card to begin with, which helps, which means if a card's rare and say one listing expires, one other gets bought, but the next listings are 100k more, the card quickly becomes 100k more in value on the market anyway. It doesn't mean they necessarily get bought, but it does mean that if someone does come along and just thinks, I want to buy this card, and they want to buy the cheapest on the market, like most people do, they're going to be buying a card that 5 minutes ago was about 100k cheaper, and that's called rarity spikes. And you'll be able to see on this graph here sort of how drastically these can change. So from 600k up to 730, from 650 up to 790. So she's a really good card to trade in terms of getting fluctuations. But you may see, as you can see on the weekly graph, because it's the market crash, cards are dipping and dipping and dipping. So it's not the safest time to trade. You kind of want to be in and out of cards within 18 hours at a maximum. If I look at recent sales, you can kind of see the differences. I mean, 306, that's just a coin transfer. But if it wasn't and just a mistake and someone bought it, then wow, great profit, but very unlikely. But say if you bought for 691, managed to sell in the mid 700s, it's a really nice profit. Let's see if it doesn't seem to be many instant goodbyes and sales. I mean, this is a very good one. But there are opportunities with this card. But again, fairly infrequent sales, quite a few in the last hour. But you can see 2 hours ago, there were none. So yeah, it's something to bear in mind with cards that are rare. There's good opportunities for them to rise in price quite a lot, but there's also quite a lot of difficulty in actually selling them. So you might end up kind of having to hold out a little bit. So, you know, the card might get to this price, but you might have to wait a few hours for it to get back to that sort of price. If you miss the sale in it, if someone undercuts you by 1k, that card sells. No one else comes along to buy the card. You might have to wait a few more hours, maybe even half a day, to sell the card at the same price again. So yeah, sort of keep that in mind when you are trading these sort of rarer cards. Rafinha was just a momentum page snipe, I believe. We can check his price now, see what he's doing. But he's not. He has come up a few times. These sort of more expensive, it'd be great if I could type. These more expensive cards are quite good to. More expensive team of the weeks are quite good to trade, just because they get a bit rarer than the regular team of the weeks. If someone wants to buy Rafinha, there's a chance they do actually buy this card because it might be one of his cheaper versions. As you can see, he does have these sort of fluctuations, maybe from 200 to, just under 220. If he got to 220, that'd be a decent enough movement. But around, that's a really good movement there. Again, a really good movement. This is obviously crazy, but it's unreliable because it's the one-off standalone one. But if you could buy around, 190, you're going to be able to get sales at around 210 fairly comfortably, maybe even 220. So yeah, again, another decent card that fluctuates. And he's one of the few cards that does have a graph like this. Probably because of the 90 rated Evo, which are going to be coming during Team of the Season. People might be investing. So, yep, that was him. And the other cards is Nico Paz. I think on Rafinha as well, I'll check how much profit I made on him. I don't think it was crazy. 11,000 coins. And it's 105,000 coins on Sawa, so really good trade on her there. Nico Paz is a card that I've been trading recently, and he's very weird. You can see he's not... There are fluctuations there, and they are fairly normal. But as you can see, it's a lot of these where he's just getting listed stupidly cheap, and the next cheapest would be like 140, 135, things like that. And it might be reflected in his recent sales. We'll have a look. But he seems to be selling for around 140 to 160 at the moment. I mean, that's just stupid now, isn't it? But I kind of want to get, so there's getting quite a few listings like this, and for a card this rare, getting this many sales isn't normal. So something weird is definitely going on with this card. I've bought this card and he'd sell, and then I'll buy another Nico Paz because he comes up on momentum trade again, and the one on my transfer list disappears because I've probably bought exactly the same card again. Someone has bought my card, listed it straight away for like 105,000 coins, and then I've bought it because it's a good deal, and I've just sold one for 136 or something, and it disappears off my transfer list, the one which I've initially sold. So I know I've sold it, I've got the coins, I've used it to buy another card, but it's disappeared off my transfer list because it's the same card, and the game can't recognise you trading the same card more than once. It doesn't want to keep a track of it, it doesn't want to keep a log of it. It can only do the most recent thing, and the most recent thing you did with that specific card, that like exact card, not just Nico Paz, but that specific Nico Paz card, is do the most recent thing. And the most recent thing was me buying it for 105,000 coins and listing it. So yeah, something very weird going on there, and you've got to be very careful with trading cards like this. Don't overdo it. You can absolutely print coins when it's working really well, but there's also a chance you're going to get yourself banned, because if EA sees it's just one person with another person buying and selling the same card, listing straight away, buying straight away, listing straight away, buying straight away, they're going to flag that up in the system, and they just think you're transferring coins, doing things against terms of service, and you can lose your account over 10, 20k profit. I mean, it would be like a few 100,000 coin profit if you keep doing it, but it's not worth it to lose your account. It's worth it to try it a couple of times when you know that it's happening, especially over multiple days. Just buy a few and then take your profit, move on to other cards, because there are just plenty of cards to choose from. But yeah, that was good profit on Nico Paz, 45,000 coins across those three cards. These were a bit duds. These didn't go too well. They were a bit of a rogue buy from me, in all honesty. I think I bought them for 45,000 coins. I think I made around 2,000 coin profit across both cards, which isn't anything good at all, nothing to write home about. I'll type in Martinez, it's not going to come up, is it? There we go. We'll have a look, because he sells really infrequently, as you can see, really infrequent sales. We bought at 45. That's kind of what he's getting bought at now. Lows of around 40, highs of around 50. There's nothing really to write home about. He sells so infrequently. We'd sort of bought at the 45, probably around this point, roughly. Thinking, oh, we might get 60 for him. But he just didn't sell at that price. Maybe some did, but it was never near the cheapest on the market. For being around 60k, he always stayed around 50k at the absolute most. So yeah, the graph kind of lies a little bit with that. There weren't actually sales. I mean, we can have a look. There might have been a few. As you can see, nothing's really getting past 50. And I think it's getting it's got false data with one selling at 79.5k there. It's kind of boosts the graph, makes it look a bit better than it is. So that's why it's always important to check the recent sales to see if there are fluctuations. And as you can see, there's not really at all. Maybe if you buy for 41, sell for 49, that's great, but it's not the same as buying at 40 and 45 and selling at 63 is and selling so infrequently. It just wasn't really worth anyone's time doing that. But yeah, that was a trade. Gabriel Sara, I believe, I can't actually remember too well if this was a fluctuation or not. Maybe the graph will jog on memory. I think it was just a snipe. I don't think it was a fluctuation. I think we bought for around 119 and it went something like this. But because he's such a rare card, it looks like a fluctuation like this, and you can fluctuation trade with it, but it just gets rare. There's like a few cards on the market. You can buy when he's like 120. He's going to get to 130, 140 quite comfortably just because he's such a rare card. I mean, he's got a crazy amount of sales for how rare he is. But yeah, I would ignore these kind of crazy high sales as per usual, but 135, buy them for, 119, that sort of range. I think that's, 115. Good fluctuations on that card if you want to check him out. Who else? Gakpo we did in the video, in the recent tutorial video where I go through the methods. It's he's what I use for the fluctuation trading. We'll just quickly check his price just to see what he's at now. Be interesting to see if he's fallen, if he's held his price. He's gone up to 147. So in the video I was like, I'm unsure whether he would go that high, but he has gone to 147. But it's always better to take the safe profit in a market like this. But yeah, fantastic. He's sticking to his trends fairly consistently. Obviously, he's only recently. Oh no, he's gone really high, but he's only recently hitting those sort of high marks. Earlier in the day he was around the 130 mark, but still more profit than what I would have got for him. So yeah, he did actually stick to his normal fluctuation despite the market crashing. So that's always quite good to know that he is holding strong. If that's a card which comes up again, you kind of learn from it. Go, okay, I've traded this card before. I understand that he sticks to his fluctuations more, and I can sort of trust in them a little bit more. Timber was a card which was just down. I found a snipe, picked him up, listed him straight away as the cheapest on the market. Nothing special there. Diaz is very similar to Nico Paz. So you're type of Nico Paz. So you're probably going to see something very similar here with Luis Diaz. If we have a look, so he's got these fluctuations where he's going low 100s up to around 130, low 100s up to 130s, 120s, and it's just consistently happening over and over again. But he is kind of holding price at around the 130s, and it's just the occasional, if you can get an example of it. To be fair, that is more of a fluctuation pattern where quite a few are coming up cheap. So again, a card you can fluctuation trade. Maybe it's not as dodgy as what I thought it initially was, but typically when I was looking before, when I traded this card, I mean, if you have a look at this, it is a bit dodgy because all of these within like a few minutes of each other getting listed for, below 100k, and then the next sales straight away. like 116, 115. Kind of, this is what I was talking about, where ones get bought and they instantly get listed again. So both of these got sold. They both got listed at 104. 1 minute after they got bought, and then the sales again are going back up again. But yeah, it's a very weird pattern. I would kind of not steer clear, because it is free coins when it is free coins, but I wouldn't rinse and repeat this method over and over and over again, just because you risk getting banned, and that's just never worth it. But again, like I said with NicoPaz, try it every now and then. If it works, it works. You can make a few hundred coins off it, or a few 100,000 coins if you really rinse it, but you can make some decent profit on it. So Loriente, we'll have a look, because this is the one I made a loss on. Only 500 coin loss, but I think I bought around that sort of mark, maybe 46,000 coins, I think. And what was I looking at? I was looking at these sort of high points, thinking he may hit one of these again, maybe even one of these, go to mid-50s. But as you can see, he's not really, I mean, he is looking like he wants to climb again. But yeah, there's only a few sales, sort of low 50s. It's not worth trying to hold out for this card when he sells so infrequently. So I just got rid. 500 coin loss, not a problem to me. Absolutely fine. And the last cards I've got are the unsold ones. We've got Rafa, who we did in the example in the tutorial. Like I said, a very slow selling card, but I have been trying to sell at 25,000 coins. Recently checked what the cheapest on the market is, and it was like 34,000 coins. So we're trying to sell at 33,000 coins. But yeah, a slow seller. I'm going to make profit on him, so it's not going to be much of an issue. It's just more of a case of when. Like I said in the video, you don't want to have your transfer list full of these cards. You want cards that people are more sought after. And we've got Asuka, who's in the same boat as all of these cards, where he was going for more. If we have a look. So he was selling for more. Like, look at these stupid spikes. Like over 100k, and he's usually like a discard price icon. And he sells stupidly infrequently. Like, nobody wants this card at all. Even Rafa gets more sales, but in this sort of window, he's getting loads and loads of sales. He gets next to no sales, and then 19 hours ago, he's just getting all these sales. So if someone was trying to buy him up, price fix him, and they had some success for a little bit, and I tried to get involved, probably bought, I think I bought at 70,000 coins probably. Thought I'd fancy my chances, and he's just come crashing back down again, like I thought most of the other cards would, but some of them have held their value for whatever reason. I don't know if there's any logic behind that, or if more people are just jumping on the bandwagon. But we will be taking around a 4,000 coin loss on Suka, which is a shame, because if I made a profit on him, or just broke even, I'll be looking at 600,000 coins profit for the last 24 and a bit hours in which I've traded. But all of these trades were done within 2 to 3 hours, so really good profit. Just goes to show that when you're on 0 coins, it's a lot harder to build up than it is when you've got coins. You've got way more opportunities. You don't have to go missing out on all these opportunities. I could just put all my coins into these cards, wait for them to sell, and they all sold within an hour. But they weren't sticking around because they were so much cheaper than the next cheapest card on the market. So I could go in, buy them, because I had coins available to do so, and take the profit whenever the cards sold, which was all within an hour. So it was a bit of a crazy, I mean, all of these were within the space of like half an hour, so it was a bit of a wild half an hour. So having those coins available was really helpful. If I was only on a couple of 100,000 coins, I'd only be able to buy 3 of them, be looking at 75k profit, as opposed to, the 600,000 just under I made from trading these cards. So yeah, it really goes to show how quickly you can build up coins when you've got coins. So hopefully I'm going to be showing building my coins up to around 10 million coins. I'm currently on 2 million coins. And the other day I was on 1.5, so it's gone really well so far. Should be on about 2.1 once that Suka sells. And I just want to see how many coins I can make before team of the season. I'm not going to be going crazy heavy onto trading here, but just trading maybe an hour or two a day. If it's going really well, maybe chucking a third hour. But I'm not trading on my main account until team of the season comes. So I'll trade it more low budget on this account, showing you what you can do whilst you're waiting, show you maybe the risk involved with trading during a market crash, give you a bit more insight into trading different scenarios and circumstances. But yeah, so thank you for watching, guys. If you've got any comments about any of the trades or any trades you've made recently or are looking to trade, just drop a comment. If you enjoyed the video, drop a like. Thank you again for watching, and I'll see you next time.